Okay, welcome everybody. My name's Greg. I'm a member of SPAWA, Sovereign People's Assembly of Western Australia, which was established 4 years ago, or thereabouts. Some of us here are also common law sheriffs. We're actually glad you came in this really, really wild weather, because we would have been gone home by now. But anyway, I'm the MC, and I'm to introduce the speakers when I've done my speaking part. But because the weather is like it is, I shall just introduce you to Mandy. Mandy is the convener of SPAWA, and she is the instigator of this whole operation taking place. And I must say, why I joined SPAWA was because it's a place where you can find sanctuary in a crazy world, and you can meet with like-minded people and have your say if you want to, and get help in all different areas. Today we're also here as part of Jody Lowe's FUCCP, and I've only used the initials because I can't remember what all the rest of the words mean, but that's all right. Alan and Mandy can tell you, but and Jody Lowe's done a fair bit for the Assembly in helping us get information out. But now I'll introduce you to Mandy, this lovely lady here. Step forward, Mandy.
Thank you, Greg.
She's got a lot to say.
Thank you.
She has got a hell of a lot to say, so just hang on.
I do, but I'm not going to say everything that I intended to say today. I would just like to say that we will be having another event when the weather is better in another. What's that? When the weather's better, maybe next month. We've got some sunshine and not so many stormy showers coming through. So there's a lot of information that I wanted to share with you on the sovereign citizen and on law and legal. But all I want to do right now is just read you something that I got from AI. And I don't know if anybody's done any work with AI, but it's really amazing the information that we've been getting. And this is what I got on sovereignty. So just let me read it to you. It's very quick. When we speak of sovereignty, we are not speaking about politics, titles, or paperwork. Sovereignty is not something handed down by governments, monarchs, or parliaments. It is something far greater. Sovereignty is a spiritual position. It begins with the truth that each man and each woman is created as a living soul under God's law, not man's legislation. To be sovereign is to know who you are, a being of spirit, flesh, and breath. Not a corporate entity, not a number, not a subject of the legal system. Sovereignty carries both freedom and responsibility. It is the freedom to stand outside of control and coercion, and the responsibility to live by the higher order of law. Do no harm, tell the truth, honour your word, and seek justice. When we stand in sovereignty, we reclaim dominion over ourselves, our mind, our body, and our spirit. We no longer bow to the inferior system of legal fictions, because we now answer to a higher jurisdiction, God's law, the law of truth, the law of nature. This is why sovereignty cannot be taken from you, and it cannot be given to you. It can only be recognized and lived. It is a spiritual awakening, a remembrance of the authority you were born with. And when a people remember their sovereignty, no government, no court, no corporation can hold power over them. For sovereignty is not political, it is not legal, it is spiritual and therefore eternal. So I was really happy to read that. The AI that I use, it's ChatGPT, has got a real handle on sovereignty, on the difference between law and legal, and the writings that we get from AI are absolutely amazing. So we know, AI know, it's now time for the corporations to know. So I'll just hand you back to Greg. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Mandy. That was very well said. And just, you reminded me of something that I learned a long time ago. It might have been still at school. That I think the problem with corporations is they have no soul. So that people who work in corporations may have souls, but when they get in there, they get lost, and they're just for power, greed, and and money, and that's not who we are. Anyway, I'd like to introduce you to Alan, and Alan is our Sheriff Coordinator, and he knows a lot about a lot of things. I'm sure he's going to share some with us now. Thanks, Alan.
Yeah. Shall I say good day, viewers? It's good to see this massive crowd and everybody here today that braved the weather. It's been one of those hell days, but anyway, not a problem. But thanks, Mandy, that was great, and Greg. We've battled the wind and the storms, holding these shelters up to keep everybody out of the rain. But I mean, basically today is to help unite people and bring everybody together for a common cause. And that common cause is we have one enemy, and we have one entity that is bringing humanity under the knuckles of this iron curtain type thing. Today we're here because of, as Greg just said, the FUCCP, which is the Freedom Unites Coast to Country Parades, which was the Cairns to Canberra parade originally when they did do a parade. And what we've been trying to do and what we're doing now, the energy, the resonance of people and the consciousness of people is rising massively, and we feel that. People can feel that. We all feel it. And as I say, with what Jodie's promoting and the youth, we're trying to bring groups together that have remedy. These groups that have remedy are not just speaking and talking about it and complaining about it. These groups are actively finding a solution for you, the people out there, to rise up under and utilise, even if you are low in the knowledge or just coming on board, or you're right at the top of the knowledge tree. We are providing that platform and the energy and the resources for free for the people to use. We're providing court systems, common law courts, which can deliver justice, which you've all seen, most of you. If you haven't, on the program on the ABC, they mentioned our courts under the heading of the ABC program on, I'm not sure of the date, but 2 weeks back, Monday night, called Lawfare. They didn't paint us in such a bad light, but they certainly went on to the sovereign citizen thing. But I mean, today we're looking at uniting everybody in one common enemy. And when I say enemy, we're talking about a fictional entity that is being controlled and manipulating stuff, carrying out lawfare on the people, preventing you from getting through the gatekeepers, and empowering the police to enact these laws that no one wants. Well, sorry. Actually, I'll rephrase that, because that's one part. I shouldn't have used the word laws. Enacting acts and statutes and legislation against that. Law is natural. Law is simple. Law is your inherent right. And we need to make that distinction between law and legal. And as I've said before, you all, as the people, are the source of power. And to simplify this, and I'm simplifying fairly big here, but as the source of power, no river may rise above its source in nature. And we are the source, we are the people, we are paying them, they are our public servants. And to control us, they've turned you all into corporate fictions or dead fictions or entities, so they can deal with you in a legal system. And when we take ourselves away from that legal system, we actually create a better environment, an education process and an understanding process of people doing no harm, and free trade, and bringing our public services and all our privatised public services, because they're all private now, back to the people. And what we want to do in a way where it doesn't frighten the people. The people don't have to be scared that if you stand up you're going to crash this system, because the system won't crash. The system is already there. We don't want to destroy it. We want to just empower it back 180 degrees to the people, because it's our systems, with a government, not a parliament, a government called the Australian government, a registered business, sitting in there as a foreign entity in our parliament. And we need to get the people back into parliament. A lot of people in in their daily jobs that are working for government departments and the bureaucrats around, most of those people need a paycheck, and they were part of that system. They need to get, they can't survive without the job. they've got a job, they're using that job. But fighting them at that level and tackling them, the speeding fines, your parking things and all those small little things, they hone your skills, but they're not the remedy. They are not the remedy in this situation that we're facing. We've got to break it at the top. And unfortunately, we can't do that. We're now at a point where we are at such a level that we now have all the remedies, we have all the actions, and that's not to say they are going to work. We have several different paths, but at the end of the day, those remedies need to be put in place by the people. The people have to do this with us, because we will get taken out, we won't be able to function properly, and they will shut us down. We need the people with us, and we will get this over the line. We've got remedies in place to cover the vacuum that may be left. We have the systems to put in place to bring back justice and hold these people to account that have harmed people. Let's not forget, they've gone out and actively murdered people, openly murdered you. Yet we seem to all have to forget about it, or the government's looking after your safety. They create the problem, they come up with a solution, and then they tell you it's for your safety, so you don't actually rebut what they're doing. In actual fact, you're just getting herded down a line. I mean, I had some stuff here to read from, but it's probably pointless. But I would like to actually say one thing. Well, I'll repeat this for Jody, because he said make sure you say it. But Jody said, if you're sick of any, some, or all of the following caused by our government, greed, and our country's sell-off, then please join us. Cost of living, mass immigration, housing crisis, double powered, double rates, climate spending, government debt, tax on tax on tax, forest destruction, big business profits, crown land leasing, foreign ownership of all your public services, globalist agendas, funding foreign wars, endless red tape, constant surveillance, geoengineering, mRNA injury denials, family court trauma, pedo protection, kitty litter in toilets. I've got to explain that one. He mentions kitty litter in toilets, and I'm going to assume here, but I think it's like trying to get the people, you people, to act is like trying to herd cats. But you can get them to the toilet with the kitty litter. It's about the only thing you can do. That's the only thing I've come up with about that sentence to you. So, but anyway.
There's people called fairies, and they identify.
Well, there you go. I don't know that much, so that's.
They identify
Big
cats
top.
or dogs. Schools say.
So I had it completely wrong. Absolutely.
So they want kitty litter in the toilets for this minority group that they are pushing for.
Lots of kids dressing up as animals and things like that.
Right.
More of them in America than there's a few here.
I just got owned. Anyway, small business closures. I mean, small businesses getting smashed left, right, and centre. You know, I mean, I'm from a building background, and I mean, the builders are just getting knocked on the head all over the place. Deliberately done from above. Very subtle, but it's happening. Racist gaslighting and constitutional denial. So that's what we're here for, and we have one common enemy. And I must say to the people, we are uniting. We do not get involved in petty arguments between groups and who knows the history that well and who doesn't know it and who did what when. The only thing we can do as a people, a united people, is change what happens tomorrow. And that's all we can focus on. And if we don't focus on that, we are disunity. I mean, the Scots had it. They could never crush the English because they were always sold out from the back. So, on that note, I will finish off and say thank you for everybody else, for everybody coming here, and appreciate your time. It's a really bad day, but you know, we need rain so the sun comes up. Thanks, guys. Okay, as we had just had a massive rain shower and we were abrupted, but I will end on this one note, and I'm going to read this because I get it wrong sometimes. When an ordinary man or woman challenges the reach of government authority, they are quickly branded with the label sovereign citizen, as if it were a crime to stand on one's rights. Yet politicians themselves enjoy immunities, privileges, and corporate protections that place them above the very statutes they enforce on the people. They can defame in Parliament with impunity, spend without consent, and sign away the nation's resources, and bind the people under rules that they do not themselves obey. Pseudo-law, but not law, pseudo-legal. They call it law. If rejecting accountability to the law is what defines a so-called sovereign citizen, then the people in Parliament and the judiciary must be recognised as the greatest sovereign citizens in the land, for they claim the very sovereignty they deny to the people. The politicians have to be citizens as declared under the Citizenship Act in 1949 to enter a government, and are sovereign by birth. Sparwar's rejection of the false accusation of pseudo-law. That term is used by courts and private members of the legal system to discredit law and the facts they do not want to hear. We rely on common law, which is the foundation of our constitution and the rights of the people. The principles are clear. First in time, best in law. And the defendant must be heard. To dismiss these arguments as pseudo-law is in itself a denial of justice. Law cannot be ignored simply because it's inconvenient for those who claim alleged authority. To do so is procedure above lawful right, and we will not stand for that. I'm Alan Wallace. Thank you very much. Take it from there.
On you!